Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 4 of my favorite tournament, the U.S. Championship. It's getting better and better, the U.S. Championship. Now they're even starting to follow it in Russia and some of the big chess countries. This is the highest rated field it's ever had. Anyway, this is the two top players in the United States duking it out. Number 2 in the world, Carl Nakamura, as white, and Wesley So is black. I believe Wesley's number 7 or 8. So right now we have 2 of the top 10 in the world for the United States. Wesley just changed his federation from the Philippines to the U.S. And I will say this, Fabiano Caruana, who represents the Italian Federation, was born and raised in Brooklyn. So, and if you talk to him, he's as American as anybody, any American. And so I think we have 3 out of the top 10. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. Let's get on with this. It's going to be a Queen's Gambit decline. Nakamura is white. Wesley So is black. We'll go through here a little bit. We're not really going into opening theory. 8-6. Bishop moves. Castles. E3. B6. Bishop. Castles, pretty standard stuff. Knight, bishop, c5, c takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen e2. Alright, the smoke is cleared a little bit here. We're on move 13. Computer's got a little bit of an advantage for white. Quarter pawn, we'll call it even. C takes, knight takes, bishop f6. Hey, they both had the bishop pair. Pretty symmetrical position, to be honest with you. With the pawns are just typical stuff. They're just playing it out. They're just playing chess. Rook. Believe it or not, so far all this has been book move, what they call theory. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Knight b8. The only thing I don't like about white's position is the isolated d-pawn, but I think it was Korchnoi that said if you can't play an isolated d-pawn, just give up chess. Rook a to c1. Carl grabs the open file right away. Knight to c6. Finally, So develops his last minor piece. Still about the same. Quarter, third of a pawn advantage. We'll call it even. And according to the computer, that was the last book move. b5, bishop b5, threatening the knight. He's being attacked twice by the rook and the bishop. I mean, this is where I have trouble here. Either side, try to formulate a plan. What's a decent plan here for white, we'll say? I really don't know. I mean, what's the objectives here? The rook on d1's kind of stuck guarding the pawn. So you put your bishop on e5 and hope that it'll trade and the pawns are reconnected again. I don't know. You want to give up the bishop for that? This is where I struggle. Rook to c8, of course, guarding the knight. Rook to c3. Looks like Carl's going to double up. Knight e7. Rook d to c1, bishop a6. Bishop a6 is the computer's first choice, and that's what Akaro did. Basically forcing Wesley to trade rooks. So now the pawns are reconnected. The d-pawn isn't isolated anymore. Knight to f5. He goes right after that bishop right away. Bishop f4. Queen comes up. Looks like a pretty determined move there, putting the queen in front of the king, but he just goes bishop to c1. No biggie. Keeps the bishop. Rook to d8. f3. Let's go back here. That's also the computer's choice. Actually, the top 3 moves are all the same. Rook e1, f3, and a3. Carl decides to go f3. Rook to d7. Bishop comes back. Rook to c7, which is what he wanted to begin with. He couldn't really go on c8 because the bishop was on h6. So Carl got what he wanted. He keeps his bishop pair, and Wesley So got got to put the rook on the c file. Bishop d2. I think Nakamura is just slowly getting his bishops and his pieces in order to start moving those pawns. Queen to d8. Queen comes back. Wasn't really doing much on h4 anyway. Give you an idea, if bishop had taken the pawn, those of you that are wondering, after bishop d1 hitting the queen comes back, queen takes. Oops. So those free pawns aren't so free. Rook to c1. Same deal, I think. If bishop takes, bishop could go here. Bishop could take this pawn. There's a lot of things with the discovery. Queen f6. a4. He finally moves the a pawn, knowing he can't keep it there forever. And this is a move that I'm surprised that Wesley made. It's aggressive, but as soon as he made it, he said he saw it was a mistake. He went g5. He's trying to put a caro on the spot. Now, we're on move 28. I don't really recall offhand if any were in time trouble. Rook to f1, rook to e1, rook to b1 are the three choices in the computer, h3. The caro decides to go f4. Game is basically even now, but it's starting to heat up a little bit. G takes, and he realizes, of course, he can't take with a bishop, because knight takes d4. If he takes, knight takes hitting the queen. If pawn takes, queen takes check, and it could be a problem. So it was queen f2 to avoid that. He can still get the pawn. Knight to h4. And this is where Carl stumbles. Queen takes f4. Gives white an advantage. Almost a point advantage. And that's a lot for these guys. He decides to play bishop takes. And all of a sudden, instead of a point advantage for white, it's a point advantage for black. 2-point swing in one move. To give you an idea, queen takes f4. Queen to g7. Bishop. Bishop takes. Queen takes. And might not be winning for white, but it certainly is sitting pretty. We played bishop instead, and this is the move that Carl missed on bishop takes. Stop the video now and see if you can find the move that wins a pawn for black. Knight to f3 check. Nice. Queen can't take. If pawn takes, queen takes, screwing up his king position. He has to take. Queen takes. Queen to g3. Queen takes. H takes. Bishop takes. Black wins a pawn in that scenario. Now, they're same colored bishops. So that's a bigger deal than you think it is. King f2. Bishop. Carl's going to have to really dig down hard now. And it's a horrible feeling, even for world-class players, that you got to fight your ass off for a draw. Rook a1, f6. Carl slowly gets the position he wants. c4. Bishop, pawn takes, bishop takes, king f7. He's just getting his pieces where they should be. Rook b1, grab the file. Rook c8. And this is a very important move as well. g4. Because you're going to see that the pawn is going to end up here for white. And this bishop here can guard both pawns. King to d6. Bishop a6. Rook g8. Bishop just, rook to f1. He said to take it anyway. Rook. Tiny advantage for black. We're going to go through the last few moves. Bishop c4. He's just slowly getting the pieces whittled down. Now they're getting up on the d4 pawn, but it doesn't really matter. Rook to f7. Rook takes king e3. Rook a4. Rook takes a7 first. Rook a3 check. King. King. Rook. Check. Give you an idea, it's a draw. And that's where they drew it. So tough break for Hikaru. Definitely would have had an advantage there. If he could have won the game, I'm not sure. But it would have been a lot easier to play. And this way he had to fight like hell for a draw. So there it is, the top two rated players in the U.S. Championship 2015. Interesting game. Even the best players in the world miss things. Anyway, folks, they always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Hikaru Nakamura with us, the #1 player in the tournament, one of the finest players on the planet. Hikaru, today was not your best moment. You missed the move, and it was a big one, and you really seemed shocked when it happened.
Well, I mean, I think I was a little bit worse in the middle game somewhere. I thought Wesley was very imprecise with Queen F6, and I thought G5 was just a blunder, frankly. You know, if I go Queen takes F4 instead of Bishop takes F4, I suspect that I'm much better, if not winning. So to miss that's very upsetting. That being said, fortunately, just like yesterday, when I blundered, my position was still good enough that I was able to draw. So I guess that's okay, but I'm not very happy, obviously.
Speaking of yesterday, that must have been a shock when it happened that you only could draw a game that you really felt like you had in hand. How did you manage the psychology from yesterday coming into this game?
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, yesterday I just took the wrong piece. I mean, I took the bishop instead of the knight. That's all that happened. So I mean, I got low on time and I just took the wrong piece. So not that big of a deal. Maybe, you know, I felt a little bit uneasy because normally I don't make those sorts of blunders. But that being said, I mean, it's not a big deal, and it's a long tournament, so anything can really happen. But I mean, if I had lost today, I think I probably would not be sleeping tonight. So fortunately, I was able to defend, and I think probably at some point I was much worse, maybe, if I couldn't have gotten in G4. But I think once I got in G4 and I found this very nice Bishop A6, Rook F1 idea, I think I mean, technically speaking, it should be a draw. So, you know, fortunately I was able to buckle down and save it.
Well, you're still in a good situation. I mean, you're tied for first in the championship. You've gotten rid of two of your major rivals, that is Wesley So, naturally, and also Gadakomsky from the last game. How are you feeling now with the rest of the games to come?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm getting rid of them because I didn't beat them. I mean, it's not like I'm exactly putting distance. So, you know, if there's... you know, to use an example, in 2012, I played God, I think, in like the 10th round or something. I was a half point behind, and I was able to beat him. So, I mean, if I was beating my main rivals, then perhaps I'd be getting rid of them. But the fact that I'm just drawing, certainly they can catch up if they win a few games. So it's okay. But I seem to be getting my chances and not making the most of them. So certainly or at least hopefully I can find a way to do something as the tournament progresses.
Your confidence level, do you feel like it's all there still, that your chances are as good as anybody else, if not much better than everybody else?
I mean, I'm always confident. I'm just annoyed that I've played a series of bad moves in two days in a row. So what can you do? I mean, I'll just go, you know, waste an hour and then I'll forget about it and move on. So that's life.
Okay. Thanks for the interview. We wish you luck in the rest of your games.
Thanks.
What did he think when he saw the wing gambit being played in the U.S. Championship?
I saw him?
Gurev, yes. Gurev played the wing gambit. Gurev also played the move H6G5. I mean, you don't play him for a little while. But what do you think about these kind of moves being played at the U.S. Championship?
Well, for starters, it's good that there's one opponent that I won't have to prepare for. I can just go in and play the game, you know, not waste a few hours and waste my life preparing. That being said, Timur is a very creative player. I think actually, if you're going to play something like the Wing Gambit, God is probably the best person to do it against.
Why is that?
I mean, Gada just likes... He's not super prepared, so I mean, God is not going to know the refutation to the Wing Gambit, if there is one. So Gada is the perfect guy to play it against. But that being said, I mean, it's still risky, but it's creative, and you know, considering that I've played a lot of creative openings over the years, I certainly can't fault Timur for playing like that.
So, Nakamura, you said you're going to waste an hour now and get over the fact of this game. What does that mean?
That means I'm not going to look at any chess for an hour. I'll just...
Only an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go do something else. Maybe I'll go eat or spend time on Facebook. Who even knows? But yeah, I'm just gonna forget about chess for a bit, and then I'll start preparing and get ready for tomorrow, I think. I mean, there's a game tomorrow, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Please don't.
Right.
Stay in the hotel.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Guys?
Thank you, Hikaru.
Well, time. Nakamura